Could you please make Ken Gordon a co-host if he's not?
He is, and I've begun recording to the cloud, and I'll be streaming to YouTube now.
Okay.
It's quite a beard, Ken.
Here's Ken. There it is.
Okay, we're live on YouTube as well.
David, I keep telling anyone who asks that it's my COVID beard, and it will be trimmed when we have an effective vaccine released to the public.
Okay.
Oh, you're gonna have it for a while.
We'll see.
I think just let's keep our eyes open for Amanda.
Okay.
As the
Okay to
meeting goes
start?
on.
Okay to start, Ramsey?
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Ramsey, would you call the roll, please?
Jerry, if you could just check to make sure there's no one here that would like to speak for the open forum.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Is-
good point. Thank you.
Please raise your hand. If you need help raising your hand, go to the participants button. And by your name, there should be an option to raise your hand if you'd like to speak during the open forum.
No, David, not your hand.
Yeah, I scratched my head.
Oh, yeah. Well, that counts. Especially if you're at an auction. You just bought something. If you're in an auction, you do that. So anyone,
Nope, I'm not seeing anyone raising their hand.
okay. Would you call the roll, please?
Ludwig,
Here.
Page,
Here.
Whitaker,
Yeah,
Goodman,
Here.
Robertson.
she's
Diana,
muted.
you're muted, Diana.
Here.
Thank you. Absent is Del Vecchio and Dreyer.
Okay, motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? All right, agenda's approved. Now we have the minutes from February 27th. So let's do those first. Any additions or corrections?
I had two very minor things. Page 35, line 13. Contact should be contract.
Okay,
Page 41, line 24. Maximum should be maximize.
okay. Anyone else? It was rather a chore getting through these because I wanted to make sure that we ended up with windows that had muntins on the exterior, and I think that eventually was added. So I think we're okay. Any other additions, corrections? Motion to approve.
I've got a
Motion to-
correction to the June meetings. Are you on those yet?
No, let's do the February and then do June. Motion to approve
With
as
corrections,
corrected.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you,
Page.
John. Second, please.
I'll second, Jerry.
Thank you.
Lane.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, minutes are approved with corrections as noted. Now, June 25th, I think it is.
Yes.
Okay. Additions or corrections there, please.
Over and over again, she spelled Mark Bayer's name incorrectly. Bayer.
Okay,
It happens on page 2, line 13, page 3, 17, page 7, 1, and probably more that I didn't catch.
okay. Anything else?
Yes, throughout that set of minutes, I'm referred to as member Lanfear, and I'm not a member, and so I think that should be removed.
Well, you are really, but not a voting member, let's put it that way. You're probably the most important member we have, so, okay, good point. Anything else? All right, motion to approve is corrected.
So moved.
Thank you, David.
I'll
Second, please.
second.
Thank you, John.
Page, second.
Second.
Page.
All in favor of minutes as corrected?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, minutes stand corrected. All right, let's see here, hold on. We have no communications, no designation of landmarks.
Jerry, the meeting was properly advertised.
Oh,
in the
I'm sorry.
Brighton Pittsburgh
Yep,
Post.
yep.
Properly advertised in the Brighton Pittsburgh Post of July 9th, 2020.
Okay, that meeting is duly advertised, will now be held. No communications, no designation of landmarks. We do have a certificate of appropriateness. 7H-01-20, application of 2290 East Avenue Properties LLC, owner of property at 2290 East Avenue, tax number 122.20-1-1. Yeah, -1, I guess. For a certificate of appropriateness to renovate an existing carriage house for office space. Okay, is there anyone here to speak on that application?
Yes, Gary Ledgerwood.
Okay.
Gary, this is Ramsey. Is there anyone else you want to have join you on the presentation?
I believe Troy is on with us too.
Okay,
Troy?
Get
Just-
Troy in. I did give him the
Just-
bill. Okay.
just please spell your last names for the record.
Gary Ledgerwood, Ledgerwood.
Thank you.
Yep.
And Troy?
Beckwith, Beckwith.
Would you do that again? You're breaking up.
Beckwith, Beckwith.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, gentlemen, you have the floor.
Troy, do you want to start?
Go ahead, Gary.
Okay, so
Can we get the drawings up, Brett? Here we go. All right, Gary.
okay, so, this is our initial proposal. We received a reaction to this proposal just yesterday. Ramsey, do we want to look at both?
Whatever you want. Just tell us what you would like to have up right now.
Well, I guess let's walk through this. Just so the rest of the board knows, we received reaction from this design that it was not quite appropriate for the site, that it was a carriage house before, and this is just a little maybe out of scale for what is back there. Our intention was to have second floor full usable floor area, so we didn't have the clipped corners that you get from the roof line that's currently out there, and the ceilings are like 6.5 feet up there because it's currently an apartment. So we were going to raise it up and have some nice usable floor area. That was the intention. We received reaction, I think, from John Page, and we took his suggestions and we scrambled and put something else together that followed his direction. If we can put that up.
Keep going. Here's the floor plan and then the next one, I think, right?
Okay.
There we go. Is that what you're looking for, Gary?
Yes, thank you very much. So that pretty much follows his direction. The only thing that we really would ask that we'd be able to change is that we could make the dormers that run down the side continuous. And if you look at the floor plan, you can see why we need to do that. With the way the offices and the toilets lay out, we need that floor area. And if we were to break that up into multiple dormers on the side, it would eat into the toilet room or the stair, just for example, looking at that plan.
Okay. Any other comments from Troy or John?
We really prefer the first plan for sure, but obviously we're willing to work with you guys. It's going to get this project going. It's been long in the works.
I just have a quick question.
Yep.
What is the Tree of Hope?
Tree of Hope is the counselors that are currently in 2300, the building in the front. The original plan was that they were going to take additional, they were going to take this building as well.
Okay.
Uh,
Now I think because of parking counts, we may just make this professional office and not Tree of Hope.
Okay, there will be no hope then. Okay.
Well, hopefully there's hope, but maybe not that
well,
hope.
okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah.
John, I guess I'd like your opinion since you spent quite a bit of time reviewing this, and I thank you for that. What are your thoughts?
I don't know if the board had a chance to go over my review. When I received this package and was looking at it, and I was then reminded after going through the application that the garage and the house that it's associated with are Bragdon design. And as I look closely at the photographs, I could see the original Carriage house, which has been modified over time, and in some ways sympathetically, in other ways not sympathetically. But that the building that exists there, that is identified in the designation as a contributing building. It's a nice little building that has a number of character-defining features. And as was pointed out, scale certainly is one of the character-defining features. I guess what my first thought when I saw it is that I didn't have any particular dissatisfaction with the design if I was looking at it in a neutral way. But if I'm looking at it as a preservationist for this property and for this building, it occurred to me that the building the design as proposed was going to change the original building and the existing building to such an extent that there was hardly anything left that would give you the flavor of what was there. And I mean, it's a common dilemma for our business in rehabilitation, in trying to work with an existing building, or trying to, I mean, usually when this has actually reminded me of the gas station, in that you have a building that by its nature, and in the case particularly of the gas station, by its site, is difficult to make work, especially if you're trying to make it work as a standalone
Yes.
project. And so the natural inclination of anybody who's going to put money into it is to maximize it. And for both of those properties, I thought that there's ways to pay tribute to the original design. And my gut feeling was I didn't know how you could take the entire second floor off and still have a building that was going to be sympathetic. So in thinking it through, I thought, well, what would I do if I was in the position of having a program like that? And I think that the elements that were suggested were to end up with a roof structure that started at the existing cornice and that was a hip gambrel like the original. Go ahead and extend it over the entire building instead of the roughly square original building, and then use dormers that are an extension of the upper plane of the roof to get additional floor space. In addition to that, I suggested, well, so you can raise the roof. So instead of the top of the roof being where it is now, you could make the top of the roof higher than it is. And instead of the lower roof planes being at the pitch that they currently are, you could make them steeper and see if you could end up with something that had a reflection of the characteristics of the existing building by working with the elements that were in the existing building. And I appreciate that in the original design, you were looking at the main house, but I think, this is an outbuilding and it has its own character. And bringing some of the characteristics of the original house, I didn't think was necessary or going to be working with the building. So that's a summary of some comments that I had, and I said I struggle with this a little bit. I'm appreciative that you looked at it, Gary and Troy, and that you were actually able to put something together. It's not normal that we actually respond to these, to the applications before the meetings occur. Because of the nature of this meeting, I mean, what would have normally happened, I think, is that we'd come to the meeting, I would have some notes, and then if I thought it was appropriate, I might go away and do something like this after the meeting.
Right.
But because of the nature of the meeting now being remote, I wanted to get my ideas down on paper ahead of time. And then I shared them with Ramsey and told him if he wanted to share them ahead of time with the board and the applicant, that was fine with me. So I think it's an interesting situation where we have this new situation and we've actually had some give and take much quicker than we might have had otherwise. So there's a sort of general review, Jerry, of how I was thinking about it and everybody else. In general, the change is something that is, in my opinion, far more sympathetic to the original building. And so the question that I am working with is, what's a reasonable compromise between a strict preservation and an adaptive reuse that makes the facility more viable as a commercial property. And some of what they've done here is in keeping with what I was thinking if I were in their position, what I might be suggesting and seeing if I could, get some purchase with it.
Okay, so how do you, I guess, how do you feel?
My initial reaction is that this has moved substantially in a way that I could potentially support. Gary, you mentioned that the entranceway, which I don't have any particular the drawing, the original design that you had a projected bay.
Yep.
And so I was attempting to be respectful of that when I was thinking about it. Bay or no bay, I don't have any particular issue with that. I wasn't fond of carrying it up in brick or having the element that's from the house on it. I might still consider having the canopy be an extension of the cornice.
Okay.
But otherwise, but let's have other people give some thoughts and not just have it be me.
Well, I think you've put a considerable amount of time into this, and I do thank you for that. And I guess I would like to hear what other thoughts from the commission.
Gary, this is Wayne.
Hi.
Hey, I think originally my initial thoughts when I saw the initial design was that, and maybe I'm echoing a little bit of what John had already pointed out, but I don't feel like the design in itself is in any way a poor design. I think it's a quality design, or at least that's my opinion. I think that it's I think it is out of scale with, I think, our charge as a commission. I'm not sure that it would be, in my opinion, out of scale with the lot size, but that's not really what our charge is as preservationists. So
sure.
I do feel like that the input that John provided, and I think what at least what I'm seeing in the revisions and looking at the most current rendering seems to be a fairly sizable shift from the early philosophy. So I just would like to say thanks to everyone for I think putting this together so quickly.
Absolutely, we appreciate the notes.
And thank you, John, for your input.
Yeah.
And Gary and Troy, thank you for your rapid turnaround here. I know it wasn't easy, but we do thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Who else? Diana, any thoughts?
I read through John's notes, and since I didn't have the original, these drawings, it was just a little confusing to sort through what he was saying, but I do agree that this is boxy looking and has kind of messed up the whole thing. I also like the front entrance better that's there now.
Yep. David?
The final proposal is with the wide dormer upstairs, the single dormer, and the roof over the door.
Okay.
Is that correct? That's the final?
Well,
Can we see more photographs of the existing?
Go to the front.
I think it's coming. You're viewing Brett's screen.
There.
So David, that was the front.
Yeah,
There used to be carriage doors where the entrances were added at a later date. So the board-on-board entrances, I presume, to two of the three apartments, and then the hip gambrel doesn't, go all the way back because there was either a one-story portion or an addition on the rear of the building. You can also see the left-hand side that there's now, but on the back of this, they had from the previous picture, they don't have it on all four sides. So that little addition on the second floor that's in the background, that doesn't work very well with the existing building. So one of the benefits of this project is that the building as a whole, the footprint as a whole, I think will be unified some by having a more consistent roof structure associated with it than this sort of cobbled together piece. Because this clearly was a simple structure that was roughly a square that had a center dormer on each of the elevations. And so having a large center dormer on each of the elevations as is proposed there, again, philosophically, there's some justification for that. And if you put on your adaptive reuse hat versus your pure preservation hat, then there's some paths that could get you to where they're heading.
Hey, Jerry, I had a question of Gary.
Yes.
I was just wondering, so the original roof pitch in its current extant condition, how does that compare to the proposed roof pitch that in the latest rendering?
If I'm not mistaken, it's like a 20-and-12 pitch on the existing, and we're gonna try to go to like a 36-and-12 pitch to really kind of so those corners aren't so unusable in the interior office space.
Right, and I'm assuming with the rendering, I mean, it's to scale. It just looks to me, it looks quite a bit better, and I can totally see where you would need that. To utilize, I'm assuming, the square footage in those corners. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Like to minimize its impact of it taking away from usable square footage. That's how we ended up with the initial design, being just all 2-story.
Got it. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
I think it looks good. And John, thank you for all your comments.
And we're happy with it, whichever design you pick, but I mean, we have to go with either one or the other. The money that we're going to invest in this property, and to do it and be costly, we need as much square footage as we can get on the second floor. So, and we'll be happy with either your decision tonight, either the first one or the second one. We'll make either of them work as long as we don't have to take any more square footage away. So,
yep.
And talking a little bit, obviously you approved the front house. You see our workmanship. We're going to mimic all the same restoration board. It'll be all the shingles will be the same color as the front house. The mullion windows will be identical with the 5/8 solid mullions, just like the front house. Obviously, we can't present everything like we did last time in front of you guys, but just for sure, it's going to match the front house, and obviously you guys can see what we did with that project. I'm sure you're very happy with it, I hope.
Yeah, yep, yes.
I think we did everything you asked us to do on the front house and more. I mean, everybody, your guys, the town supervisor came in for the grand opening. He was very pleased. I walked him through the whole property. So they're very happy with what we're investing in the property. So.
Okay, any further comments?
Who is the owner now? Is it still John Massidi?
I'm sorry?
Who is the owner of the three houses now? John Massidi used to own them.
Oh, good
It's now
question.
Chris Calabro is the current owner.
We're out of Cortland, New York.
Okay, all three?
Yeah. We
Yep.
don't know.
Okay.
Actually, there's 4 on the property. There's another carriage house on the opposite end of the driveway. I think it's 2270.
Okay, yep, okay.
And that'll probably be our next project after this.
Okay, well,
So
forewarned is forearmed.
We're here for you.
Well, we appreciate it, and I'm glad you gave us the opportunity to present another plan before this, tonight, because it's very important we get this project going. Unfortunately, but we got some time restraints. We don't have a tenant yet, but it's getting into winter, so we'd like to get it cleaned up and certainly weather tight before winter. So.
Sure. Now, it currently is apartments, is that right?
Yes, we kicked everybody. We had everybody move out back before the COVID hit because we thought we could get going. Then, of course, obviously, you know how that worked out. But
Yeah.
here we are. So.
Okay. Any further comments? John, any final thoughts?
if the ask is to get a certificate of appropriateness this evening, I would like to say that I'm personally willing to vote in favor of a certificate of appropriateness, but with conditions that I'd like to see some more submission information at the next meeting that on to clarify, clarifying with specificity the materials, windows, doors, and then the front entrance canopy. But I believe that we could vote for something that would allow them to start the process of finalizing permit drawings and scheduling the materials and so on.
We
And-
certainly glad
and permit-
we'll get you on
Permit
this.
application?
So.
Okay, and this would allow them to get the necessary permits, I would assume.
It should be, yes. We would like to get a demo permit so we can at least start demoing.
Okay,
And obviously, the building permit would come after, but at this point right now, we're kind of stuck without anything, so.
now that,
I could issue the demo permit while we get the revised drawings in.
one question, can we go back to the as-is drawings? Or as-is photo? Yeah. So the chimney would be gone?
Yeah, I would say yes.
How does the commission feel about that?
I think that everything in the roof is being adapted, so I don't see any
Okay,
problem with that.
I just think that needs to be maybe noted.
It'll
I-
definitely
I-
look more uniform when we're done, that's for sure. Than a cabasso, like you just said, with what's happened in the back with it, so.
Okay, any other thoughts? Ken, are you comfortable creating a motion?
Only in part, Jerry. So I think that the record is incredibly muddy as to what is before the board and what is not. Here is my attempt to summarize what I've heard. This is not in the form of a motion yet, but I want to float this trial balloon and see if I'm close to identifying what action the board is looking to take.
Okay, thank you.
So what I would think that we have before us, what I believe we have before us, is an application for a certificate of appropriateness to renovate an existing carriage house for office space, consistent with the plans that were submitted with the application that was filed on June 17th of 2020, which application was further modified by a memorandum dated July 22nd, 2020 from Board Vice Chair John Page, and which plans were then further revised by an email dated July 23rd, 2020, and drawings from Gary Ledgewood of Hanlon Architects, and that the board would be willing to issue a certificate of appropriateness with the condition that a demolition permit be allowed to be issued, but not a building permit until and unless the owner of the property, 2290 East Avenue Properties LLC, came back to the board at its August meeting and presented more information sufficient for the board's consideration relative to materials, windows, door, and the front canopy. That's sort of what I captured from your discussions. How close am I, or how far off am I?
Well, let's see. John?
I don't mean to lose the train of thought.
Go ahead, Ramsey.
I don't know if we ever asked if there was anyone that wanted to speak regarding this.
Ramsey, this is not a motion. Let me just find out if I'm close. This is not a motion. I have not yet made a motion.
You did say that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think that in order to have an appropriate package, we should have revised exterior elevations. So we'll have, right, so these elevations are going to be discarded, the ones that are on the screen right now, the originally submitted elevations. And if they could, well, they will be anyway, as part of their permit set, creating new elevations that are reflective of the 3D model that they showed us this evening. So that, in addition to the materials and possible modification to the entrance canopy, would be what I would be asking for, that is more consistent with what we usually get when we're making a certificate of appropriateness.
Okay, good point. Any other?
I will just respond to that, John, and I understand that the property owner wants to get moving. It would be my recommendation to the board that the board either deny this application or get the owner's consent to adjourn this application, because I do not think, in my opinion, that it is ready for a vote by the board. And if we look at the Historic Preservation Code, there really is not the ability to give a half approval like we're talking about here. The purpose of requiring a certificate of appropriateness is because the building and planning department cannot issue permits until that C of A is issued. But once that C of A is issued, then the building and planning department would go through their normal administrative or ministerial role in issuing whatever permits the owner is entitled to. So really, if you want to be clean about how we go forward with the procedure, I would say this application just is not ready. And I think what you did, John, is very, bold in a good way in getting out in front of these issues and really trying to give feedback to the owner before the meeting. But you were absolutely right in your summary when you said normally what would happen is the application would come in and the first feedback that the owner would get would be at this meeting tonight. And I think what you would be saying to the owner at the meeting tonight is, I don't like your application as it is. I don't like your design as it is because of these particular elements that trouble me. And I think I heard that from, to some extent, Jerry, to some extent, Diana, to some extent, Wayne, to some extent, David as well. I think all of you sort of said the same thing. There's elements of this that we're just not comfortable with. So go change it. And normally we would tell an owner then to go change it and come back at the next meeting. Now we have this 60-day rule that says we need to make a decision within 60 days. Well, that 60-day window closes before our August meeting is going to take place. So the only way we can get to the August meeting with this application still pending is with the owner's consent. Without the owner's consent, you have to make a decision tonight to approve it as submitted without any strings attached, or to deny it. And so that's sort of where I'm coming from, John, and everyone else is.
Well, how about demolition? I mean, that's sort of a separate issue in many ways. They would like to get.
Yeah, I think if we ask Mr. Boehner, Mr. Boehner would tell us that he cannot issue a demolition permit without a C of A.
Really? Oh, okay. Well,
would you agree, Ramsey?
Yep, I agree.
Okay.
Well, so once we issue that C of A, then the building and planning department can issue a demolition permit and all other permits which the owner is entitled to get, including the building permit. So
okay, I thought we might be able to at least let them go ahead with that part of it, but I see where you're.
I hear what you want to do. I just don't know that there's real procedure in the code to allow us to do that.
Okay.
I don't know what your thoughts are on this.
I don't disagree with Ken.
Okay.
I have
Gary?
a question. Is there
Go ahead.
anything that would prevent them from doing interior demolition?
No, we have no control over, well, the commission has no control over what they do on the inside.
Okay. I don't know that there's any benefit to that, but I just wanted to ask the question.
Gary and Troy, what's your response to all
Hold
of
on,
this?
I have to get them unmuted.
Okay.
There's actually, there's a lot of benefit for us to get started inside because we got to gut the inside before we can take the roof off. So.
Okay. Well, I don't.
Also directed from the code office that I couldn't start anything. So I certainly would like you to entertain a motion or whatever you got to do to at least let us start the inside. You know, we'll be more than to give you whatever you need for the outside in a timely fashion to get it, so next month we can get this approved.
Well, this commission really has no control over what goes on the inside. Is that right, Ramsey?
That is correct.
So as far as I'm concerned, now, whether you need any kind of, I don't think you need a building permit to, well, you probably do. I don't know.
You need a demolition permit.
You need a demolition permit.
For the interior.
Ramsey, if the owner of the building asked for a demolition permit for interior demolition only, they need a certificate of appropriateness.
I was looking in the code, Ken.
I don't think he needs one from us. Now, he may need one from the town. I don't know.
Originally, I got permission from Chris Roth to start demo. He called me back the day after, said he talked to Ramsey or somebody, I believe it was Ramsey. I might be misspeaking.
It was me. It would be something I would say.
We couldn't do anything. So I like that clarification tonight from you folks or whoever needs to make that tonight that we can at least get forward on the inside.
Well, we have, as a commission, we do not have control over the inside. So that's up to Ramsey and company. This is bad as Final Jeopardy.
Ramsey,
Don't start singing a tune.
Do, 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 do.
I'm having trouble. Do we still need these plans up?
I don't think we do.
All right, can we get them down so I can see the full group here? All right, that's much better. Thank you. Ramsey, so I'm looking at section 224.6, subdivision B, which talks about no building permit shall be issued for proposed work until C of A has been first issued, but then goes on to say that the Department of Public Works is hereby directed to implement procedures which will integrate the certificate of appropriateness application procedure with the procedure for obtaining any other town approvals and with the development review process. I'm not sure whether that prohibits you from issuing a demolition permit or interior demolition or not. It would seem that since the historic preservation designation really does not affect the interior of the building, one could make a quite logical, plausible argument that integration of the C of A process into other approvals would allow for interior demolition without a C of A. But I don't know what you've done in the past.
I have a question about the interior demolition. Is any of that going to be concerning the structure of the building, or is it all cosmetic? Is it walls coming down, or is there any structural part to it that would need a building permit?
Nothing structural inside. There's 2 steel posts that'll have to remain until, that's it.
Ken, I believe that section of the code that you read was getting after integrating the role of the Historical Preservation Commission with our overall development review process when it ties into zoning board and planning board. We're getting some feedback. That was my understanding of what that section of the code meant. Now, it could certainly be interpreted differently. The commission would like to direct them. Say they want that integrated if it's only for interior work. That is something we could discuss.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm not the final say here, but as far as I'm concerned, the commission, we as a commission, pretty much have no direction or say in what you do inside. It's strictly outside. So as far as we're concerned, as far as I'm concerned, and I certainly stand to be corrected, but as far as I'm concerned, we have, you can go ahead and demolish the inside, whatever you need to do. Obviously, if you're going to change the roof, you're going to add dormers and stuff like that, that's something else. But as far as what goes on inside, I think you're, again, subject to being corrected here, but I think you can go ahead. And I think Ken is saying that it could be interpreted a couple different ways, but you know, we don't want to hold you up, and we understand you've got deadlines, and so I would give my blessing anyway to let you start on the inside.
Jerry, my thought is that if this happened to have been a project that that the applicants didn't, let's say the applicants were not going to alter the exterior in any way, then presumably the applicants wouldn't be coming before our commission anyway for a request of a C of A. Yep. And we wouldn't have been involved in this discussion with interior demo in that event. Yep. I think, Ken, what you read reminds me of our role in reviewing demolitions in the sense of demolishing the building. That was sort of my understanding.
Yeah, yep. Or from our landmark, covenants and so forth, unless we had specific covenants on the inside. If we had covenants on the exterior of a building, again, what goes on inside is not our concern.
So Ramsey, if the owner wants to get a demolition permit from you to do interior demolition only, are you comfortable giving that permit without a C of A?
The reason,
Well, Ramsey, is there a permit needed to?
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right. Didn't know that.
yes. There's what the code says versus what this board wants to have done. I do think that these are unique circumstances. We have had a hearing. I think there is some sense to be made that what they're doing on the interior is not affecting the exterior of the building. When you read the code literally, it says I shouldn't be issuing any permits for commencement of work till a C of A is issued. But that is a decision that's made administratively based on the code, but I am now in front of this commission.
Troy or Gary, if the board were to direct the DPW to, within its discretion, issue an interior demolition permit, would you be willing to have your C of A application adjourned or postponed to the August meeting to come back with the additional submission that we've been talking about, so the board can then make a determination on the exterior work as well?
I would be in agreement to that as long as you, stipulate what we need to come back with you with, which I think you've already done a lot of that, which we understand what you want. We'll certainly, I think we pretty much, you guys pretty much agreed on the exterior as far as the newest drawing Gary got to everybody today. We'll spell out the windows and whatever else you guys want. I would be happy with that, yes.
Ramsey?
Yes?
I have a question. Would we be setting some kind of a precedent for a situation like this to occur in the future?
Well, yeah, I think we would.
Yeah, but I think that we're going through a thoughtful process here. I think that's the precedent. And
That is.
the something for the applicants to keep in mind is that any work that they do is at their risk.
At their risk.
Right?
Yeah.
And we have done a review of the information that we've been provided and given them our opinion and our suggestions for directions. I'm feeling like there's a degree of understanding between the board and the applicants, but it is up to them whether they want to take, the risk on work that they would do on the interior against any possible, differences of opinion on the exterior when we have more full application materials.
We're willing to take the risk.
But Diana, I guess my point is, if we designated a house and somebody wanted to redo the bathroom, they wouldn't even come to us. If they wanted to gut the kitchen, they wouldn't come to us. So I think what you want to do on the inside is strictly between you all and Ramsey, but you certainly have our blessing, or at least my blessing, and I think I speak for most of the board, that you can go ahead on the inside.
But the demolition for the inside would not come from our board.
No, that's correct.
Correct.
That's correct.
Okay.
Nor would any historic property that's been designated come before our board if it was strictly interior work.
Right, we wouldn't be here today if we weren't dealing with the outside,
Yep,
as Jerry
yep.
mentioned.
But I do want to put a fine point on this and say that there is no promise or guarantee by the commission that they will grant any certificate of appropriateness when they do get those submissions in August. They will consider them. They will make a determination as to what they think is consistent with the intent and purposes of the historic designation of this property. So
Yes.
just to put
We
a
fully understand that.
Okay.
So with that, let me suggest this action by the board. I would suggest that somebody make a motion directing the Department of Public Works to proceed in consideration of an interior demolition permit application in its administrative role without the necessity of a certificate of appropriateness, and to adjourn the application which is currently pending, that is specifically application 7H0120 for a certificate of appropriateness for the property at 2290 East Avenue, until the August commission meeting with the consent of the owner of the property.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Have a second, please.
I'll second that.
Robertson,
Diana? Okay. Ramsey?
motion, Ludwig,
Yes.
Robertson, Robertson,
Sorry, yes.
Goodman,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Page,
Yes.
motion passes.
And then I would just list for the owners the following submissions which are going to be needed for the August meeting of the commission. And those submissions should include materials for windows and doors, details of the front canopy and revised exterior elevations. Anything else?
You said windows, doors.
Elevation.
Front canopy and revised exterior elevations.
Okay.
Plans, plan sheets.
Yeah. Drawings. Basically whatever you'd need for a building permit.
We'll have everything spelled out for you like last time, for sure.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate your cooperation.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Just a note for the record, Amanda just joined the meeting. There she is. Hello.
I'm sorry, I had a family issue. I apologize. I wasn't here on time.
It's okay. I hate to tell you, but you've been dismissed from the commission due to lack of.
We need her.
Congratulations. Glad you're here. We're just about to vote on an issue which you have no knowledge of, so you might want to abstain on this.
Will abstain.
Okay.
I think we already voted.
Oh, okay.
We voted.
Ramsey?
We voted.
We did?
I was just listing so that the owners
Would know.
architect
Oh, okay.
know what that list of submissions was. So
You were asking what the list
we're
would be.
guessing.
So we don't have to vote. Okay. Very good. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll look forward to seeing you in August.
We'll be there.
Okay,
Thanks.
great.
See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, we have no new business, well, any new business, I guess I should ask that before I say none. No new business, okay. Old business, the public, basically the public hearings are closed. No new business. Under old business, we have 3 properties that are potential designation properties. One is 332 South Landing Road. I believe that's at the corner of, let's see. Whoops. Yep, that one. Also the school at 909 North Landing Road. Yep. And then finally, 1037 South Winton Road, Chabad Leadowich, I believe. I think we should pick one to send the letter to. Well, I guess we could send a letter to all 3, and then we'll select one to hold a public hearing on after that.
Sharon, we have only an application for, hold on. So I would do it one at a time. Mary Jo, it is for 332 South Landing Road.
Okay,
You have an application. We are still working on the application for 909 North Landing Road.
That's
Okay.
the question about. In writing up the application for designation, do you want to include the brick church building with the property or just the 1914 cinder block school building?
let's see. Well, that's a good question.
The
What
church
do you think?
building is from 1960s, so technically it's just about 50 years old.
I
Well-
think we should include them both.
Okay. I'm just looking for the, oh, I see. Okay, yep. Sure, that's
There.
fine.
This church building, though, has not been separately surveyed.
Oh, we don't have a survey for it?
I don't believe we do have a survey for that church building.
Is it not described in there also briefly?
Was alluded to, I believe, in the original survey that there were 2 contributing structures, the church building and the parsonage. But
Well, then I would say,
we don't have a lot of details about the church.
let's proceed with South Landing Road then, if the commission is in agreement on that.
Yeah, I very much want to do that one.
Great.
I agree. I would second that completely. That's a great building.
Yep, great house. Okay, so this is a motion to send the first
First
letter.
letter?
Yep. May I have a motion, or may I have someone put forth the motion, and then I'll need a second.
Jerry, I'll
make-
put forward.
I'll make the motion.
I'll
Thank you.
second.
Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, John. Any discussion? Okay, Ramsey?
Ludwig,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
Goodman,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Page,
Yes.
Dryer.
Yes.
Okay, and what about South Winton Road? Brighton Brick.
How about?
I believe I did supply some grant information that Mary Jo gave me to the town supervisor. I did want to talk to them about possible grant opportunities for the building. I don't know if he has talked with them yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wondered who picked out the shutters for the second floor. Oh, well, never mind. So do you want to send a letter shall we send a letter for that?
Mm-mm.
No, I think, I thought we had decided that we would ask the town supervisor to.
Oh, okay, yep. Okay, yep.
Outreach to them. And then I think we would need an application to be prepared.
Okay, good
So
point.
really what we have now is 332 South Landing Road that we're going to send the first letter to.
Mhm.
Okay.
And we
Any
can
other old-
strive for the next one for next month?
Pardon?
And we can strive for the next one for next month?
For
Well,
9.
the question, I have a little bit of the concern, I have 909, if we don't have a survey that covers the church, is it appropriate for us to be seeking designation on it?
Well, and also the supervisor's gonna proceed to chat with 1037 South Linden, South Winton. So let's wait until we hear, we get a survey for the rest of the property at 909 North Winton, and also until Bill talks with the powers that be at 1037. So let's proceed with South Landing Road, and we'll see what we can come up with by the next meeting.
I have
I
one
will
more item of
check
old
with it.
business.
I would,
Go ahead. One at a time, Mary Jo.
Oh, I have one more item of old business. You're not going to like it. It's 394 Edgewood Avenue. The owner has been in touch with me. This is a new owner. And she's very interested in pursuing designation. I told her the house had been placed on a reserve list because the former owners had made modifications to the house that compromised its integrity.
Yep.
Wants to know what those modifications are, with a view perhaps to removing them, to making it eligible for designation.
Well, that's a switch.
Very interested in historic preservation. She also works at 2300 East Avenue, which was just discussed tonight. And I think she's planning to watch tonight's meeting on YouTube.
Okay. Well,
Is it more than just the vinyl siding?
I don't know.
Windows, the windows were the big thing.
The windows?
Well, the windows, and I think there was some, didn't they do something to the front porch or the, I don't know. I guess what we need to do, it was surveyed once, right?
It has been surveyed.
Okay, I guess what we need to do is to kind of review the survey with what's gone on since the survey. And only then can we make a determination as to what needs to be done,
Okay.
if anything. I mean, it's sort of the commission's, I think, purview to decide, okay, what would we like to see?
Mhm.
So why don't we, and I guess I would volunteer to go by, John and anyone else, Wayne, anyone else.
Sure. What's the address again, Mary Jo?
394.
394. Got it.
Yeah, let's,
Sure.
I'll tell you what, maybe you could send the survey out electronically, and then we'll know better as to what, and I think I've got the old survey book, so I can look it up in there, and just please send a reminder, email reminder, so when I get back to the home base, I can, that'll remind me to go by and take a peek.
It's across the street from our house. It's the tenant house for our house.
Oh, well then, forget it. Never mind.
Diana, did you see the windows? But you saw the windows being removed. That was since the survey was done, right?
Yeah, I think so. It was a
Yes.
tragedy.
it's my
Like-
understanding.
I think
What
there
did-
was work on the porch. I think the porch was altered after the survey. was
That's what I
done, too.
thought. Yeah, that's what I thought.
The survey was done in 1998.
Right. Well, let's see what was done, and I'd be interested to see what windows they put. I mean, are they, comfort windows, or are they, Marvin's, or what did they do?
Okay.
Because we certainly have approved replacement windows before,
Mhm.
but that depends on what they're replaced with, I guess. So let's see what was done, and then we can get back to the owner and with some recommendations.
Thank you.
Great. Oh, no, thank you. And thank the owner. Any other old business? Presentations, announcements? Motion to adjourn.
Hello.
Second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you.
Thank
Steno,
you.
thank you.
See you all next month,
Next month.
hopefully.
Thanks. Have a good
Again,
one.
I apologize
Bye, everyone.
for not making it on time. Thank you.
That's
Thanks
okay.
for making the effort, Amanda.
I'm sorry.
No, oh, Amanda, while I have you here, anything going on with your house? I know you've been working with Mark and
Yep, we just had another meeting with Jennifer to
Brett, did you
finalize
turn off
some
the recording?